that was a very eloquent way of issuing a gag order. I think he really implemented, or his objective is really to implement Rule 18 of the Senate Rules on Impeachment quite restrictively, and that it applies to all the parties, of course, to the senators themselves sitting as judges, to the active participants such as the prosecutors, the panel of prosecutors coming from the House of Representatives, their respective private counsels, and of course the defense counsels. But importantly, and I wish he mentioned her name, the sub judice rule, or Rule 18, applies to the respondent herself. It's a bit really maybe coincidental that at the same time that the presiding officer was issuing his ruling, here comes a prepared statement from the vice president attacking the proceedings so far, making allegations that there is really no evidence, that she herself is concluding that any labeling or accusations do not substitute for evidence. And it's a very direct attack on how the prosecution has been performing its task so far. If the presiding officer quoted statements made by the counsels, and I think we know who they are. I wish he also quoted the following, the statements made by the vice president herself on several occasions. In fact, on the first day of the impeachment trial, she already also issued a statement. And of course, his fellow senators, to place on record that his castigation is not just toward the counsels, but also to his fellow senators. Because if we look at the history of sub judice rule, it's really intended to insulate judges or jurors from external pressure, from media publicity, in order to prevent trial by publicity, or predicting without evidentiary basis the outcome of the case. So I think the sub judice rule went a bit far, or it was a real stretch insofar as restricting any form of public comment regarding the merits of the case on either side, but it should have been addressed more stringently to the senators.
But it was good that he started with his fellow senators. I did not expect that. And while he did not name anyone or quote anyone, it was clear that the case involving Senator Judge Pia Cayetano must have been part of the scope of the eloquent gag order, as you put it.
I think it should have been addressed as well to Senator Robin Hood Padilla, because while he may not have directly addressed in his Facebook posts or social media posts the ongoing impeachment trials, many of his commentaries or statements on his socials have in fact been connected to what is happening in the impeachment trial. Maybe not as directly as what Senator Pia Cayetano did in issuing or posting a spliced video of statements made during the impeachment trial by prosecutor and Congressman Chel Diokno. But it's actually Senator Robin Hood Padilla who has been more than active and has triggered, in fact, very adverse reactions, not just from his supporters on one side, but also from non-supporters on the other side. His posts tend to provoke. They are really provocative and incite premature judgment on the case.